This is Joanne Kilfoyle here with your Tuesday Tip. If you're looking for something fun and exciting and a bit out of the ordinary to do with your students, you may be interested in this idea. This here is an Indigenous North American flute, and I made these with a grade 6 class before COVID hit. And this was a wonderful project. I would highly recommend it to you. What we did is we ordered in the raw materials from Richard Dubé, who is a music educator and the owner of Northern Spirit Flutes, and he lives in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So he can ship you all that's needed to create this, other than the paint, of course. And then also he has a series of YouTube videos on how exactly to put the flute together, so you won't be left to try to figure it out on your own. Also, when you contact him, he is very good about getting back to you and answering all your questions and helping you. I will leave his contact information at the end of this video. But just want to tell you a little bit more about the project that I did with my students. So you see it's brightly colored. We took some time to study Indigenous symbolism, and then the students designed their flute with very intentional, because the symbols all mean something. So it becomes something very personal and very special to the flute owner. And it was done with the thought, like, to maybe pass this instrument down. So to have a lot of pride in this instrument. So the Indigenous North American flute originally would have been made out of bone or wood. But of course that's not practical for us now with our students. So this is PVC pipe, and the holes are drilled. You don't have to drill the holes. You do have to put this in and the mouthpiece in. And then if you're going to paint them with your students, now you don't necessarily have to do that, but it is a nice personal way to personalize it. You would sand your flute and put your base coat and your acrylic paint, and then you would want to seal it with some varnish there on the top. So you might be wondering about the flute. It's different than a soprano recorder. It's easier to play, in my opinion. It is the D diatonic major scale. So on the soprano recorder, that's a C. Here's a D. There's your D major scale. Notice the F is this. It's like the German fingering. Alright, so not like with recorder when we're doing this. So it is a bit easier, a little more accessible. You could possibly do this with a grade 3 class, and it would be something they could pick up very quickly and easily. There is no hole on the back to cover with your thumb. Alright, and this, you can get a book to go with that. Learn to Play the Flute. Music lesson book for the Indigenous North American Flute by Kevin Locke and Richard Dubé. And of course you can order the book as well. And it comes with a history of the flute, Indigenous flute. Describes the anatomy of the flute, the parts of the flute. And then it has a pretty good section of music back here where they use tab notation. So let me just give you a close-up of that. So you can use this music, but you can also move away from that so that students will begin to read, you know, the notes of the staff. But let me demonstrate one of the songs that you would find in this book. Symphony from the New World by Anton Dvorak. So there's many beautiful songs you can play with the flute, and your students will really enjoy it. It's very accessible, and it keeps a really nice emphasis on Indigenous learning and teaching. So yeah, I will put the contact information for Richard Dubé at the end of this video, and I hope you will choose to do that project. It's very fun, and I do highly recommend it. It's a nice beginning step, maybe before teaching soprano recorder.